G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Desert Eagle, or Deagle for short. This is a high caliber handgun, standalone animation sounds, everything's there, and it's chambering the 50 Action Express rounds, which simply uses the 50 caliber rounds from the vanilla game, so it's not going to make it a hassle to actually use this weapon, when chances are you've already got some ammunition of that type that you're carrying around anyway, which is nice. This one is specifically made by Magnum Research, which would date it around the year 2010, so it's not as ancient as the ones they made during the 80s, but, you know, it's still well preserved regardless of that. Let's get into the attachments. Also should mention, there's an akimbo for this thing as well. You can dual wield Deagles in this mod, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But first, we'll look over the single one. So this one has got the receivers as you'd expect, and the advanced receiver gives you 184 damage with a DPS of just under 1400, which is pretty good. The rate of fire on this thing is going to be okay, not as fast as a deliverer, and the recoil is going to make that hard to reel in, but it's got a highly decent rate of fire considering, yeah, high caliber handguns in a vanilla game are revolvers and are slow and boring. We've also got a legendary effect provided by a legendary modification. It's really tempting to put Deadeye or Instigating on this, but I will not. And now we'll go over to the sights. You can have standard sights, a reflex sight, which will be placed on top of this cool Picatinny rail up the top, a short scope, and a see-through scope version of that short scope. I like how it's got both options here. I tend to go towards the short scope because the recoil animation in the weapon can sometimes throw your aim off. It makes it a little bit easier to track targets if you're using the vanilla game TV microwave scopes setup. But we'll go for a reflex sight on this one to optimize our VATS usage, and we shall move on. We can have a comfort grip, makes it comfortable. Also adds 0.0 pounds, but makes it heavier anyway. Math problem. Next, we've got the fire mode. You can have this completely automatic if you feel like it. Don't think that happens in real life, but if you're crazy enough to do it, then why not? Guess what? We're playing as Iris. She's kind of crazy. Next, we've got the lower rail, which you can attach a flashlight and a laser, or a combination of both. We're already having an automatic thing, so we'll throw on as much as we can to add more weight to counteract the recoil, you understand. Next, we've got the barrel. You can extend that barrel to make it look like that. Not pretty. Or you can have an even longer barrel, which will increase your range by a significant amount. 107 is nothing. That's very below average for handguns, especially since the Gunslinger perk does give you extended range on your pistols, so that is really low. So if you're not invested in Gunslinger at all, this thing is going to be hitting for very small amounts of damage over ranges. Fortunately, if we throw a suppressor on this thing, or unfortunately, I suppose, is going to reduce our range even further, but as you can tell, Ace Operator has kicked in. Now we're doing 2100 DPS with this thing. There's also a muzzle brake here to control the recoil, but that appears to have no attachment on the end of the muzzle at all, but you can have that there for recoil compensation purposes or whatever, but there you go. You can have an invisible muzzle brake. And of course, we've got options for materials. You can have chrome, very classy, black oxide, or brush. Since this one's got a suppressor, there's going to be a stealthy Glock Deagle in 50. That makes sense, doesn't it? And you've got a damage modifier here, just an extraneous one. If you feel like this thing is doing too much or too little, you can adjust it accordingly. Now, I wonder if I chuck on the 100% thing and go for a light frame receiver. Yep, okay, good. So you can make this go into negatives, which will make you do that much damage. It'll one-shot everything, but we won't do that. That's just a bug, don't worry about it. Next, we've got ammunition. You can have standard armor penetrating, which will give you better armor penetration against armored targets. Useful for gunners, but you lose out on a little bit of raw damage output. Flechette, you don't want to split your damage between a couple of projectiles, or maybe even more than that, then I mean, there's an option there, but don't recommend it. And of course, we've got Explosive, which requires Gun Nut rank 4 and Demo Expert rank 2. Explosive automatic Deagle with a laser sight, long barrel, and suppressor. We're playing Fallout. It's not supposed to be realistic, so let's do it. Wonder if that actually works with the suppressor. Sometimes it doesn't, but we'll find out. And a quick look at the akimbos. So same deal with the receivers. We'll pop that all the way up to advanced. A legendary effect slot. You can have these automatic if you're even crazier. And there's also a damage modifier here as well. No muzzle attachments, but we can actually use the explosive ammo. I tested the suppressed explosive ammo, and no, it doesn't work, which is extremely disappointing. 0 out of 10. The Deagle 50 is injected onto level list at level 30. You'll find it in vendors, on gunner bosses, quest rewards as well may grant you this thing. And this is a different Desert Eagle mod. Look at the difference between textures. Huge difference. Anyways, so we'll grab that. Thanks. The first unique can be found in Commonwealth Bank, which is an unmarked location. You'll find it underneath the Fanua Hall, just a little bit south of this. Go to this street right here. You got that? Sweet. So you'll find this building here. It says bank there. You can't miss it. There's a couple of entry points. You've got a door there, or you've got an elevator here, which we'll take this one. Once you're out of the elevator, the bank is pretty easy to find. There's also a big old bank vault here. Bring expert hacking person, and then nice, got it first try. And then open this up. You want to get inside, yeah? And then on a expert lock safe, you can find Celery Phoenix. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it, definitely. Also, it's gold. Look how shiny that is. Nice. Actually, it doesn't tell you what this thing does. On the mod pages, this says this thing has a faster fire rate, faster reload, and a 2.5 times crit multiplier, which is awesome. We love crits on pistols. They do a lot of damage. Alright, listen up. Next one we'll find in Jamaica Plain. It's this settlement. There's a special dungeon here with all of the treasures. So the easiest way to get this is to first go to this red house next to the church, and that will allow you to get into the church. Look out. There's some feral ghouls in here, so quickly dispatch of these pricks, including the legendary ones with the Gatling lasers on them. That's pretty good. And the freezing sniper, that's a good haul. Anyways, so once you're here, just drop down, mind the fall damage, and then you'll find a key on this fellow down here. He's called Luke Silverhand. Grab that, and then proceed to this section here. This is where the ancient treasure tomb actually is, you understand. You gotta go down here and hit this door with advanced lockpicking, and then proceed downtown, go through these doors, the blue doors. That's the one you want. There's also a little bit of a side thing. If you've got master lockpicking, you can open this right up. Yes. This will enable you to bypass all of the dumb security. That's a combat rifle, if you see that. And then you can get right into the room. You've already got the password, so may as well use it. Once that's open, hit this button. Yes, yes, American patriotism. This is like the third gun that I've found in here. Anyways, Heavy Al Discreet. There it is. It's a chrome plate. It's got all of these cool markings. So this one has a faster reload and a 2.5 times crit multiplier as well. It doesn't have the faster reload like the one that we found in the bank, the celery one. The next location we're going to is located within the glowing sea. It's called Decrepit Factory, just southwest of the crater of Adam. Pretty simple to find. You'll find lots of ghouls here, so look out. And within this Decrepit Factory, you'll find yourself yet another Deagle. And here it is, Calibrated Prejudice. Nice. Looks pretty stock standard to me. So this thing is automatic, as you can tell right there. It has targeting bullets and also has electric ammo. And that's reflected by the little bit of energy damage you get out of it. So that's kind of neat. Looks like it's got an extended magazine as well. More uniques can be found in the Nahant Sheriff's Police Department, which is located right here on the Nahant Wharf. You've got Libertalia there, Revere Satellite Array if you've done the Lost Patrol quests and all of that, and then there's also that Croup Manor settlement tucked away up here. Within these walls of this decrepit police station, you'll find very special guns, which you'll need to go to the top floor on the southwestern end, and you get yourself some akimbos. Very nice. Next unique is located in a place called Scrap Palace, which is pretty south of the map, not too far away from the glowing sea. See, there's the edge of the glowing sea just there. You'll find a bunch of super mutants in this place, and the Deagle is hidden somewhere here. This is one of the more trickier things to find, but don't you worry, I'll show you exactly where to go. So walk through this front gate and into this small shed here, and you'll just find it on a barrel.
Nice.
There it is. Your hardened Deagle. Like diamond colored thing. That's why it's called a Deagle. And according to the mod page, this thing has the Furious effect, so it's going to be very strong if we keep shooting at the same target over and over, which is nice. Also, it's got a scope and a long barrel already, so perhaps Sniper Deagle? Maybe not. The last unique can be found at Poseidon Energy, which is another place that is very south of the map. You've got Quincy just around the corner. There's Warwick Homestead and Adam Cat's Garage for reference, but we're starting on the bottom level, just in the ground level door, just for simplicity's sake. Don't go down there, only there you'll find Mirelurks. Instead, go through this room here, and you see that room up top, you want to get up there. So the way to do that is either A, fly up there with a jetpack, use a grappling hook, or find some bloody stairs, which are over in a corner. I believe it is this one. Yep, there it is. You can hop over the fence to get yourself up here pretty easily, and then once you're inside this main section, keep going until you find this main room, and you'll find your calibrated powerful entitled. This one is strong. Calibrated powerful receiver, slower fire rate, but a 3 times crit multiplier, which is strong. This actually might be our sniper one. Okay, we're finally at Immersive Gunners Plaza. Here is our Deagle in first person. You've already seen this one a little bit, so let's full auto some bugs from back here. If I hold down the trigger, blink, and all of the rounds are gone. So we'll have a quick look at this thing in first person. First, watch this. For some reason, the idle animation includes twitching. I don't know why that is. Maybe we're just that eager to start shooting something with it that we're getting ants in our pants about it, but that's what it looks like. Interesting. And, oh, there's some idle animations. I don't usually show that off, but I stood there for long enough to actually show it, and that's what it looks like in third person. Pretty nice. And next we go over to our Akimbo Deagles. When you aim down sights, you'll aim with one, and you'll still twitch. Still twitching. And since this thing is both automatic, well, it's like really, really heavy Glocks. And look at this reload animation. I'm gonna slow down time. Check this out. Isn't that awesome? Anyways, back onto business. Here is our gold one in first person. Just a standard barrel on this one. Makes it look very tiny compared to the rest of them, but yep, that's what it looks like. Extended magazine giving me, what is that, 14? 13 rounds instead, and no tactical reloads. We can't have that extra one in the chamber. This one is the engraved one. Reflex sight, semi-automatic, suppressor, of course, and a laser sight on the bottom for good measure. This one is the one that fires the slow-moving but homing projectiles. And this one just got iron sights because we lock on anyway. We don't need to particularly see what we're actually shooting at, so yep, that makes sense. Next, we've got the diamond version. This one is automatic with a see-through scope. I didn't talk about this earlier, but you can change what the inside of the scope looks like, the reticule, which is cool. I've just got a basic crosshair here because, well, it makes sense. Not like making this thing automatic. That doesn't make any sense. And lastly, we've got proper sniper status. This one is semi-automatic, vanilla scope, long barrel, and suppressor. And that's pretty much it. Let's get into it, shall we? Super fast, like. We'll just cut a little bit of time by grapple hooking. Anyways, so what I could do is get a big gun foo streak happening. Why not? Good start. Much better. There we go. Perhaps not as efficient in VATS as I would like it to be. But we can still do a half-decent job of taking them. As they get a little bit closer, we'll start to get much better damage, of course. That's more like it. It's a little bit too far out. I think that's probably the biggest weakness about this particular weapon. Maybe for like a balance choice. But this thing having next to 0 range is kind of interesting because it fires this big, heavy projectile. But as you can tell, once you get it accurate and on point, it'll do the job even when it is a little bit outside of its intended range. Here's something funny. If I utilize a automatic version, look at the AP usage as I'm shooting at nothing. There's barely any involved at all, so potentially that would be helpful for just getting massive gun foo streaks. So let's see if we can put that into practice. One. We'll just focus on getting as many headshots as possible. There you go, Grim Reaper sprint. We'll pick up this easy turret kill and then quickly run around. We should be getting automatic crits on everything now. Yep, we are. And with that in mind, we can just sort of shoot them like that. The mysterious stranger is showing up unnecessarily. He's actually taken that kill away from me. That's a Grim Reaper sprint proc I could have had there, but he decided to take it. All right, let's go over to Akimbo Explosive Automatics. Oh yeah. Obviously not the most accurate thing in the world, the recoil hard to control, but if you can get all of your rounds on target, you can kill things in one reload. Still technically 2 magazines, but still. Gotta say, it's probably not the most efficient way to run your Deagles or your 50 caliber ammos. There's Mysterious Stranger again. Shot the wrong one, but whatever. As we sit here twitching, watching from a place where you couldn't see what transpired. So it looks like the explosive effect is somewhat subtle. The muzzle flashes on this thing are interesting because they look like gamma gun bursts. Easier to see against a darker background. I mean, what's up with that? I've never seen that before. Is that realistic? What would I know? Anyways, let's move on. We'll go over to our gold one. Maybe we'll get some gunslinging crits on this thing just to see what she can do. Well, that was pretty good, but as you can tell, we're only hitting for 50-50s at a range which I would still consider close range, so up close we shall go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. 4, even. I think the explosive damage will carry over to the next target anyway, so that'll be fine. With a little bit of gun foo, we can make this thing work, but we have to be very, very close to actually get this happening. And I'm surprised we didn't actually take that gunner out in one magazine, but tough. Did a weight mix this morning. Let's move on. We'll go over to our engraved version. Looks like our reflex sights are a little bit low. We'll just switch in and out of third person to fix that. A bit of sniping. That's better. That's much nicer. Although I feel like that gun was only, what, private rank because she went down pretty easy. Right, this is prime gun foo candidacy right here. I meant to miss. I'm just testing the game. See if the hit detection's fine. Add a crit into the mix. Why not? He stole my kill there. She's holding a fish, but it's a rifle. Actually, can I catch that midair? No. I punted it towards that gunner as a distraction, you understand. Okay, that worked out pretty well. Let's go over to this one. This homing device. I don't expect this one to be particularly effective, but we'll try it anyway. Lock on. Yeah, that's all right. At least, ooh, you can't target cloaked stealth boy units. That makes sense, I suppose. Having the recoil as crazy as it is nice to know that you're not going to miss a shot, provided they're not moving too fast to step out of the way of the projectiles. Because as a reminder, very, very slow indeed, but Yeah, I think you get the idea. We didn't really have much time to show off this version here. That's fine. We'll use something like a Furious one against the Swan, or maybe something later. Okay, Furious effects against the Swan. Let's go. And we'll get started by this Super Mutant. Why not? It is an automatic thing, so it should be a 3-round burst. And whether these explosive projectiles mean that I'm going to be hitting even more... Ah, okay. I think I'm breaking the combo here. The explosive effects resetting. They might be resetting with the Furious stacking, so probably a little bit of a misplay to put on the explosive ones. Anyways, go for a full burst. Maybe there's a specific limb that I can target that'll actually start stacking the Furious effect. I suppose in the meantime I could use something with a little bit more punch. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. We got away with that one though. We didn't get staggered at all. It's still good damage, but I don't think we're going to beat him in a one-on-one slugging war here. Unless he just stands there and takes it like that. If you want to do that, that's fine. Target his leg. See if that makes it work. 57, 38, 57 again. It's like it's trying to stack, or either that or there's no actual Furious at all for this thing. Let's make sure we don't get squashed by him. We'll go back over to our automatic reflex sight one. Since we're not getting any Furious stacking, we may as well use this. That's very strong when it comes to using criticals. You could have argued that I should have used a calibrated powerful receiver just to maximize on our potential crit damage. Swan is way off today. There we go. There's a hit finally. Alright, let's keep hitting him in the face, I suppose. We've got the penetrator perk, so even when he does his little claw over his face shielding thing, we should be able to punch right through it. Even before you count for all of the ballistic energy being sent into him by a Deagle firing at full auto. It's going to be a hard-fought campaign, of course, but we'll keep going. And we just dodge that. Okay, now it's getting serious. You've got my attention, Swan. But you weren't expecting that. Serious Stranger has shown up as well again. Is he going to be distracting him or on the other side? Oh, he's doing some good work, whatever he's doing. Need to update the dodge mod. According to a comment, it's supposed to slow down time with a perfect dodge. But that's never happened for me, so I'm thinking I'm using an older version which didn't have that feature implemented. So, there we go. And we've got a 2-shot radium rifle. That's actually a pretty good drop. I'd use that if, you know, we didn't have a plethora of mod guns to use that are slightly more interesting. But there you go. Let's move on and try to use this Furious effect. Okay, Furious. This time without any explosives and slightly better optimized. There it is. It's got iron sights instead of a scope, so that's helpful, right? Anyways, you're gonna start stacking or not? Oh, there's something. I don't know if this is working or not. We've had a pretty good run thus far, though. Let's keep it going. Now that he's actually seen me, we're not getting quite as impressive damage, but still, bursts of up to 450. That's not too bad. And whoop. That was weird. When I come out of aiming down sights, I seem to warp forward a little bit. Don't think it's because that was the terrain I was standing on. So it looks like it's a resounding no for whether Furious actually works, which means I should probably just use this one. It's got slightly better range, and we've got Ace Operator working for us as well. And let me just... There we go. There's a... Well, what I thought to be a perfect dodge, but then I forgot that he can just turn on a dime because he's a scary Wendigo. Nice. Really tanked that one. There we go. Alrighty, so that there was Deagles. Do I go for one more? Furious Explosive Akimbo Deagles? Screw it. Let's actually put the Furious effect on. Okay, let's go big game hunting. What's the big game? It's the big Death Claws and also the little baby Death Claws, which are actually mythic tier Death Claws. Anyway, so marked with a skull. We'll see how that goes for you, mate. Oh, yeah. Look at that damage. It's stacking. It's rising. It's working. I love the pauses between the shots. You just watch the hammers go absolutely batshit insane, and then that happens. Ooh. We're both struggling with pathing now. We'll just call it a draw, right? And let me just dodge out of the way of that. Keep glocking this guy into oblivion. Oh, yeah. There we go. There's Furious when we wanted to see it. And what are you doing? Get out of here. We've got no time for you. Also, here's the funny thing about the Deagles and stuff. Sort of any dual pistol weapon mod derivative in general is that... See, that was a chameleon Deathclaw. He just did his chameleon thing. There it is again. Now he's blue.
Oh, now, girl. It's all right.
That's sad. I kind of like how the chameleons just change colors, and even doing it post-mortem. Is blue the neutral color that it just defaults to? That's interesting. Anyways, so yeah, there you go. That was the Deagles for real this time. Just had to use the Furious effect normally. And yes, the animations, since it's like two-handed, you sort of hold this thing like a rifle, which means you just cock your elbow like right back there. It looks really uncomfortable, but that's fine. Just like aim down sights or reload or anything, and the animations will fix themselves a little bit. So if you want to see this weapon in your game, check out the link in the description. To my knowledge, I don't think there's any other Akimbo Deagles on the modding market, so to speak. So this is going to be the only one that actually does that. But there's plenty of other Deagle mods getting around. There's like maybe 4 or 5 of them have been fairly successful because, let's be honest, Deagles are cool. We like them, so why wouldn't they be? Also, for classic holstered weapons, since the Akimbo Deagle is Akimbo, you'll find that the things look like that. And since it follows your right leg bone, you can't exactly shift the thing over so your other Deagle's on your other hip, because then it'll just be swinging with only one leg and it'll look kind of stupid. But yeah, not really much you can do about it. If you're using the singular ones, it'll be a nice fine big iron on your hip that'll work out well, but the Akimbo ones, they don't work. So that's the only limitations. You could argue the complaints, but nah, that's fine. It's just the way things are and how classic holstered weapons work. But anyways, if you want to see this weapon in your game, check out the link in the description. Highly recommend this Deagle mod. Get it, check it out, download it now. What are you waiting for? Go and do it. See ya, bye, thanks for watching.